Alright, it is time to start coming to me when you want to know who's going to win at these Misfits events. Not only did I predict the winner of Survival Tag, shout out to Nich Lmao, we're going to get into that fight soon, but I also believe that I predicted who was the best to worst fighters out of all four of them. But we're not here to talk about my predictions. We're going to get into this entire fight card, even though it's only like 4 fights on the main card. But I just had to throw that in there to start this video.
He's done it from time to time. Just have a bit of...
From the United Kingdom, the Nightmare.
Alright, we are back and it's time to talk about Misfits 008. And I kind of want to just jump straight into this Chase D'Amour fight. Somehow, we let this man Chase D'Amour, this guy right here.
Down, break your knees. I like that. Oh, boy.
We let him fight this man, the bare knuckle heavyweight champion, in a boxing match on 1 day's notice. And somehow, he almost survived the entire fight. This one was odd. This fight should have never happened. And realistically, they usually would never want this to happen. Unfortunately, Hasim Rahman Jr. drops out of the fight just 2 days before the event. Maybe even 1 day, if I remember right. Alan Belcher gets a backup opponent. He doesn't meet his medicals, leaving them to make the fight with Chase D'Amour. And this one was completely one-sided, as expected. I thought it was going to end in like the first or second round though, so he did better than I thought. He was in survival mode the entire fight, and I can't blame him for that. The amount of clinching and running away was insane, but once again, I don't blame him. Alan Belcher is a scary dude, no matter who he's fighting. And I gotta give Chase props just for taking this fight, because he went in there very inexperienced against a knockout artist who fights bare knuckle. That's just insane. Bro, if you were listening to Chase's coaches in the corner, they were just saying to like hang on for dear life and clinch even when the ref told him not to. So when the ref is telling him to let go, Chase is just refusing to let him go for like 10 seconds because his corner told him to. That was some crazy corner work. I don't even know what else to say about this fight. Respect to Chase, I guess, for taking it. And I hope we actually get to see Alan Belcher back, because I really like to see him and he seems like a pretty cool guy. And I'd like to see that Hasim Rahman Jr. fight. We also had the first fight of the main card, James Sellers versus the AK guy. And this was a classic, very inexperienced Misfits match. Both guys were showing heart in there. James Sellers was doing everything he could to keep this fight at a distance and utilize his reach, but his experience didn't really allow him to do that. The AK guy showed he wanted it more. He had more heart. He kept pushing forward, landed some big shots, and you could tell these guys were getting pretty gassed quickly. There were some big dudes and big guys, not very experienced. They're going to gas out quick. But the AK guy gets the victory. He probably deserves another shot on Misfits. I wouldn't mind seeing him again. In the co-main event, we had a tag team match. Waleed Sharks and Dean the Great on the same team. I don't really think much people saw that one coming. I didn't, and once it was announced, I wasn't even sure if this fight was going to go down. They seem to be fighting in every other video I see of them. It's always funny to me to see the huge bodyguards just tossing them around. But you can tell these guys hate each other. After the whole announcement that Waleed was going to be Dean's partner, I saw a lot of people saying this just wasn't going to work. But at the end of the day, I think it went pretty well. And I do think it just built the hype more for their next fight, which it looks like they're trying to get done soon. It got the hype at an all-time high, and now I'm more excited than ever to see that fight go down. Dean and Waleed get the victory in their tag team match. It was nice to actually see them have some teamwork in this fight. They kept saying how they were just going to stay in and never tag, but they actually used their tags pretty wisely, and they got the deserved win. However, I was extremely impressed with Yuddy Gang TV's performance. He was a lot better than I expected him to be in this fight. Definitely one of the more skilled guys on Misfits. He was putting up a great performance against Dean and Waleed. He was losing a decent amount of the exchanges, but you gotta remember, he was fighting like 80% of that fight, while Waleed and Dean got to tag out, which was the right choice for them, because I Pop, the other tag team partner, was clearly not on his level and was getting pieced up every time he went in. But I want to see Yachty Gang back in a Misfits fight, not in the tag team next time. I think him versus Waleed or Dean eventually is a great fight, and I'd really like to see it. Those are probably my two biggest takeaways of this fight. The hype for Dean versus Waleed and Yachty Gang's performance. I enjoyed seeing this one. I thought the tag team aspect worked even better than last time. And then finally, the main event, Misfits Survivor Tag. And I thought this fight went well enough to where I want to see it again. There's definitely some things to fix, some things to work on, but overall, I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I keep saying this, and I agree. I do think the fight should go to 6 rounds if they're going to do it again. 4 rounds was definitely just not enough time for these guys. I would have liked to see them in the ring more and see different matchups. That was another thing that was kind of weird. I felt like it was a lot of Nich Lmao versus B. Dave, and then Ryan Johnson versus Swarms. I feel like the whole tag mixing up was not going super well. Nick gets the victory, 100% deserved. I had him winning this fight, and then I do think Swarms got second place. Go back to my predictions video for this fight. I said Nich Lmao was gonna win it and that Swarms was gonna be a close second, and then I said that B-Dave was gonna get last. I don't think B-Dave's very good. He has heart. He comes out swinging, but he's kind of trash. I'm not going to lie. So next time, 6 rounds, I think it would help the judges decide a more clear winner, because you can tell this is something that is very difficult to judge. 4 guys going in there, an 8 to 10 point system. It's definitely difficult. I'm glad I wasn't a judge. I thought this one was pretty easy to tell who won. I understand the argument for Swarms, but I think it was pretty clear that Nick won this fight. He was winning most of the exchanges. And like I said, maybe the tagging from Swarms could have been better, because I think B-Dave was the weakest opponent and Nick got the most amount of ring time with B-Dave, which I think helped him win this fight. So maybe strategy could be a big part of this thing. Nick had the best strategy, I thought. But I do think they all could have done better with their tagging out. They were kind of tagging at weird points when they didn't have to. Some guys would be doing well, then tagged out because their opponent did. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm happy for Nich Lmao, man. He seems like a really good dude. I saw some of his post-fight interviews, and he deserves this fight. He seems like he's taking this thing pretty seriously, and I'm excited to see what happens next for him. I'd like to see him in a big fight after this. Traditional fight. No more tag team for Nich Lmao. Let's get some new guys in this tag team thing. I think it'll do a good job of building people's names, building the hype for when they have their own fights. Also, it does suck that Anthony Taylor versus Paul Bamba got canceled. I said in my other video that was the fight I was looking forward to the most. There's a lot of controversy around Paul Bamba's pullout. Some people are saying it was fake. He's not actually injured. He said he passed his medicals and then he didn't. There's a lot of stuff going on about that. I'm interested to see what happens there. But overall, they did what they could with this event. A lot of things are going on, a lot of pullouts, a lot of fights could not happen. And with all that happening, I thought that they did a good job of delivering a non-pay-per-view event that was entertaining and just fun to watch overall. Subscribe for more boxing updates and content. The support is much appreciated. Thank you for watching. Peace.